Good afternoon, guys. We're going to be talking about our program for today. Today's program is pretty simple. Like you see on the whiteboard, basically we are going to be doing a bunch of intervals where you'll be working for 90 seconds and then resting for 30 seconds. Okay. Now, the reason why we're doing this is because this is a deload week, and so we would like to take some of the intensity out of things. So there's two ways that we're going to do that. The first way that we're taking out some of the intensity is by giving you a rest period in between each of your different stations. So you'll have a row station, you'll then have a station on the floor where you'll perform your jump rope and your farmer's carry. You'll then go to your next station, which will be an assault bike, and from there you'll go into your final station, which will be jump rope, this time doing speed skipping steps, and we'll couple that together with a handstand hold. All right. Now, one of the ways that we give you to deload is, like I said, reducing the amount of work that you have to do by giving you a 30-second interval of rest. The second way is by taking away any of the demand or need for you to hit a certain calorie goal or to hit a certain repetition goal. So because there's no repetitions listed, there are no calories listed, you get to approach this at whatever pace feels good for you. My suggestion would be to work at anywhere between 120 to 140 beats per minute. That's zone 2 training, okay? So make sure you guys are keeping yourself held back a little bit. Cruise through this, go at an easy pace, don't need to push yourself too hard. Let's talk about the workout. Rowing and biking, pretty self-explanatory, not a whole lot of stuff for us to talk about there. Your farmer's carry is also something that you're very familiar with, so you just pick up some moderate weight kettlebells and walk across the floor for 30 seconds. Now, I want you guys to understand, the jump rope that we're doing today is a great opportunity for us to use our wrist control. Like we talked about in our drills, we want to make sure that your elbow is out behind your shoulder, your hands are close to your wrists, and you are using your wrists to move the rope, not using your hands. If you use your hands like this, that's not going to translate into your double under. The only other thing to talk about is using your legs for your speed steps. Now, your speed steps ideally should be alternating your legs while you move your rope. So every time your leg comes off the ground, the rope is going to spin under your feet at once. Most of us are going to have a difficult time doing that. So what I would suggest for you to do is this. Drill by jumping the way you would do a jump rope. Get to one foot and bounce. And if you feel comfortable there, switch to the other foot. Now, once you've done that, do 5 reps, 4 reps, and then once you've done that, 3 reps. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, finally 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you go 1, 1, 1, 1. And that's a good way for you to progress into doing those alternating speed skipping steps. Next thing we're going to talk about is getting up onto the wall. There's 2 ways for you to do this. You can either do a back to wall handstand hold, or you can do a wall facing handstand hold. There's 2 different ways. Each have their own pros and cons. One thing that I like about doing a back to wall handstand hold is that my feet are making contact with the wall. With my feet in contact with the wall, there's no way for me to fall over. If I fall down, very easy for me to put my foot down and catch myself. Whereas with a wall facing, if I overbalance and my feet go this way, there's nothing behind me to catch myself. So I'll have to kind of turn my body and do a cartwheel. That's the upside of doing a back to wall, and the downside of doing a wall facing. Now, the problem with doing a back to wall handstand hold is that, as I just demonstrated, you have to kick up. Now, it depends on where you're at with your handstand journey. This might be something that's very easy for you. If that's the case, 100% go for that back to wall handstand hold. If it's something that you're not yet comfortable with and not yet familiar with, I'll give you a couple of tips to be able to make that happen today. First is you'll get your hand set a little bit away from the wall. I like to use about half a hand width away. And of course, as always, when you're doing vertical pressing, your hands are outside the width of your shoulders. The second thing I'm going to ask you to do is get your hips up as high as possible. I want you to take note here. When I have my hands on the floor, I am not in a push-up position with my head and shoulders in line. I am getting myself stacked up as high as possible. What I would like to see is that my head and shoulders can stack in a straight line over my wrists. Bringing my hips up as high as possible means that I don't have to throw my hips from here all the way up towards the wall. Instead, if I can start staying high and kick this foot up, my hips have less distance to travel. The first thing I want you to do is take your back foot, the one that's set further away, and kick this foot up to the wall. The foot that's closer to your hands is going to drive into the floor. So again, watch. This foot is going to come up to the ceiling and then come back down. Push up and come back down. Practice that a couple of times. And when you feel like you're ready, kick up and bring the other foot to joint. Both heels together, press the ground away, making sure you stay active. And of course, if you're sagging here with your butt arched, squeeze your glutes, push your heels into the wall to get straight. Make sure that you have a nice straight line. And once your 30 seconds are done, go ahead and come off the wall. Have fun. See you guys.